Okay. So, so there is this thing called Haskell 99 problems. Okay, and this is what we are going to do as part of the test driven development exercise. So let's start off with some basics. So let me start off with find last element in a list. Okay, so now the question is,
Praveen, you are not presenting your screen.
sure, just give me a second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this Haskell 99 problems. So the first 10 problems we will do using test driven development way. Okay, so what exactly is test driven development? Okay, so test driven development essentially is all about, of course, as it tells, writing the test first, and then doing the code, writing the code that will pass the test. At the very simple, this is what it is. Okay, so there are three basic rules of test driven development that needs to be followed very religiously. Okay, everyone, it doesn't matter what happens going forward, you will follow these three steps until you are extremely familiar with test driven development. Okay, so again I'm asking you guys, is there any problem following the steps? You should let me know. The first thing is fail the test. Right, that essentially means write a test which is failing. Okay, so it is very simple. Another way of telling this is you should not have any code. If the code is already written, if you write a test, it will pass, right? So the first thing that you need to write is fail the test. Write a test which is failing. Second thing that you need to do is write the simplest code that will make the test pass. Okay, so we will talk about this. This is very important. When I tell the simplest code, it could even mean you are not completing your program itself. It could be as simple as just making the test case pass. So we will look at that anyways. And the third part is refactor. So once your test is passing, then if your code is little dirty, you can change around the code, you can move, create multiple functions, make it a little more prettier and stuff like that. So these are the three items that you need to follow very systematically. Write a failing test, write the simplest code, refactor. Write the failing test, write the simplest code, refactor. Just keep repeating this and you will get a project, or you will get a code that is extremely well designed. Okay, so test driven development is essentially, the advantage of test driven development is not that all your code is tested. That is definitely one of the advantages. The advantage of test driven development is you can design your application in an evolutionary manner. Okay, so usually what happens in most of the application, right? Initially we will have some idea about what the project is. As we continue to get into the project, as we continue to understand the project, as we continue to understand the customers, our understanding of the overall system becomes better and better. So when you design a system on the first day, right? Let us say you designed a component on the first day, you had 10% understanding of the overall domain. Let us say we are building a project for insurance business. Okay, initially when maybe you understood the business, you understood certain things and stuff like that, still even if you spend like 15 days, right, you wouldn't have understood a great lot, right? Let us say you understood 20% of the overall thing and you have designed something, right? designed either your tables or your classes or your microservices, whatever it might be, right? You have designed it. Now after 2 months, you have continuously engaged with lot of customers, and you have understood the project better and better. After 2 months, let's say you have understood 40% of your application or about your domain. Now the question is, would you have designed the table the same way or would you have designed it differently? And most probably the answer is I would have designed it differently. Most of the times, right, when I start up the project and when I end the project, when I look back, I am like, I should have designed this table or classes like this. I always feel that.
Yes.
Because I am always, my understanding of the domain, my understanding of the project, everything is continuously increasing as the day progresses. So if I do this design again after 2 months, I would have most probably done it little differently. Okay. Now this is the case with everyone. It's not just you, me, any project, right? We will continuously keep understanding the customer. We will continuously keep understanding what are the actual requirements. The requirements keep changing. So there will be a lot of changes in applications. So the entire purpose of test-driven development is to enable these changes and design the project in an evolutionary manner. So initially I do a simple design. Let us say I basically did a design of a class, and that design was in D1 phase. Then after 2 days I have one more feature I have to develop. With that feature I understood this class little better, so I will redesign it little bit, so it will be in a design 2 phase for the same class, right? And since the tests are there, right, it will not allow it to fail. If you change the design and if the functionality fails, then your test will anyways catch it. But the advantage is you can continuously keep changing the design. Then after 15 days, there is one more feature that is related to this class. I understand it little bit. I'm like, okay, I need to change it little bit over here. So I change it and it becomes design 3. Okay. And since for design 1 we have test cases, let's say test 1. Design 2 we have test cases, test 2. Design 3 also we have test cases. So it will not let it fail, right? Even if I change the design of the class, the functionality itself is not failing. So that is the advantage. So you continuously keep refactoring your application so much so that after 3 months your application is well designed and the design will be catered to what the actual requirements are, and it will not be catered to what you think initially the actual requirements are. See, sometimes what happens is when you start off your project, right, they will explain you few things. You might understand it in a different way, but after 10 days you might understand, oh, this is not what they said, it was like this, right? So that time we cannot go, and if you have not done test driven development, we cannot go and redesign everything. But if you are continuously keep evolving the design, then you can trust me that in 3-4 months the application will be in a very good shape. Till now, are we clear? Whatever we spoke.
Yes.
Yes.
Any doubts on this?
No.
Right? So I'm going to start off with the sample, so whatever, test driven development itself. I'll just create batch 6. Okay. And I will tell describe. So what are we going to do now? So let us take an example. This find the last element in a list. Okay. So your test case should describe what the functionality is. Okay. Describe what are we doing. Find last element in a list. .js. So usually try to keep it what do you call, use business vocabulary rather than technical vocabulary. It always helps. Okay, I know this is a little technical problem. Usually you should use business vocabulary. So we will get into that. Right now let me unit test. I'm going to create this. So have you guys gone through what mocha and chai is? Any, all the four of you?
No. No.
Okay. So mocha and chai will allow you to write test cases. So your test cases, there are certain constructs. There is something called describe, where you're telling what should the test case do, right? What is this? What are we trying to achieve here? We are trying to implement a function, describe, find last element in a list. This is what we are trying to do, correct? So now I can split this problem into smaller chunks. So let me do this, context. So you can use something called context, where you can tell what is the context. Right now the context is when the list is empty. This is the simplest flow we can test, right? Is there anything else that we can test? Is there any other simpler flow than this?
No.
Right? You have a list. What is the simplest flow? When the list is empty, if I ask find the last element, what should happen? Right? That is the
Nothing.
simplest flow. Correct?
Yeah.
So we need to always start off with the simplest flow. Don't get into the complex flow at all. Now there is a construct called it. This is the actual test case. Till now we are defining what the thing is. We are telling that describe what are we trying to do. We are trying to find the last element in the list. Next we are coming down, we are drilling down further, context. When the list is empty, we are basically talking about when the list is empty, what should happen. Now the actual test case comes where you can type it should return. What should it do when the list is empty? If I tell find last element, what should it do?
Return null.
So now instead of return null, always tell return nothing. Okay. Now this is a business vocabulary, right? Return null is more of a technical vocabulary, right? So always try to use business vocabulary, because it will make you as a developer also understand the business. If you are not able to write your test cases properly, if you're not able to use the right words, that means you have not got the abstractions correct. Okay. So it is very important that you use business vocabulary. It should return nothing, correct? Now what I am going to do is I am going to tell let result equal to find last element. Okay. What should I find last element of an empty array, correct? Now let's run the code. So I'll first of all open the CD projects session, okay, and CD functions, and I'll do npm run auto test. So I'm going to first of all should return nothing, find So first thing is I'm going to, there is something called interaction based testing. We have done it for the previous batch. So I'm going to first of all comment this. So what happens is when you tell describe and you give the dot only this test case runs. If I remove this dot only, then all the test cases run. Okay, did you guys get it?
Okay.
So let me just show you once. So right now what are the test cases that is running? Only find last element in a list. When the list is empty, it should return nothing. This test case is failing, right? There is only one test case. So if I remove this dot only, it will execute all the test cases in the system. If you see, there are 63 test cases. Everything got executed. Got it? And if I basically put dot only, then only this test case will get executed.
Okay.
Is that clear? Cool. These are some of the basics of running the test case. So now what is it telling? Reference error, find last element is not defined. Of course, find last element, we have not even written the code, correct? And this is how you need to start off. Okay. So I'll basically make this test case pass. So I'm going to create the function here only. I'm not going to put it in a different file. but in your actual project you will always have the production code in a different file. Okay,
Okay.
so you basically take a list and you return something. So I've just defined the function, so now it is passing, right? What is the next step? You remember 3 steps. First
Yeah.
one is fail the test case, we did that. Write the test case that will make it pass. We have not written anything extra, we have written the simplest thing, implementation, right?
Second step also done.
Now refactor. Can we do anything over here? No, there is nothing that we can refactor. So I will continue with the next step. What is the next step?
Find the test means we fail the test again
Correct.
with a proper list, I guess.
Not with the proper list. We will find and see how to fail a test case. Okay. Now, till now we have done this. We have not checking any expectation. Okay. Whenever you are telling test, say for example, if I basically do add 1 plus 1, 1 plus 1, what should the output be?
2,
2. 1 plus 2, what should the output be?
3.
Correct. We need to test that expectation. Correct. So
Yeah.
we basically have something called expect. We are using chai and we are basically going to check the expectation. What is the expectation here? Expect result dot to be null. Right now let's go with that. Okay, is this clear? This is what we want, right? Find last element. When the result is there, I am expecting it to be null. Correct. So let's run our test case. So it is basically telling undefined to be null. So I'll basically go and make this NaN. So not defined. Okay. So this part expected I can basically do undefined. Okay. So now the test case passed. Now what is the next step after making the test case pass? Refactor. So there is not much code, so there is no point refactoring it. So I will go to the next thing. What is it? Fail the test case. So what is the next simplest test case that you can write?
With one edge.
Correct. So now let us set the context. Context when the list contains one element. Correct. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, when the list contains one element, what should happen?
It should return the element.
It should return the first element, right? Okay, so let us go ahead and do that. First I need to make the test case fail, correct? So what is the expected to be equal? If I have an element whose value is 100, so this should be, the result should be equal to 100, correct? So I'm going to run the test case. So it is basically telling undefined was deeply equal to 100, correct? Now how can I fix this?
We have to send the list index of 0 or something.
Correct. So I can basically do list index of 0, correct? So I'll basically return this. Now let's look at this. Both the test cases passed, right? Is this the implementation for the our final implementation? No, right? But we are doing the simplest implementation first. Okay? This is something that you guys need to understand. We are implementing only to fix the test case. Don't worry about anything else, right? And you will figure out slowly as you continue to add test cases. You cannot do anything more simpler, but you have to implement the code. At that point, you have to implement the code. Okay? So let's look at the next item. What is it? I failed the test case, I fixed the test case, refactor. There is nothing much to refactor. I need to fail the test case, right? Now the context is when there are multiple elements, when the list contains many elements. Okay, what should it do?
It should fetch the last item.
Return the last element, correct?
Yes.
So I'm going to take this, paste it. So 100 and there is 101. So what the result should be? 101.
101.
So let's make the test case fail. Did it fail? Yes.
Yeah.
It was 100.
Yeah.
I'm expecting 101. Now how can I fix this?
We have to pass the last index.
Correct.
List dot length minus 1.
Correct. List dot length minus 1. All the test cases passed. So we are actually completed one example with test driven development way. So did you guys understand what it takes to write a simple test case,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, we got.
Now let us basically go with find the last but one element in the list. Okay, so let us look at that. Describe. We'll do one more exercise. Describe get last but one element in the list.
Praveen, one question. Like when we are describing the test, so from the simplest to the least simplest possible, like the test case where we are actually testing. Okay, like here in the third context. So those should be in the same file only, right? Not
Yes.
only in this case, but in
See, all the test cases will be in the same file.
okay, but this find last element, this method.
This will be in a different file because we are not going to put it in the test file, right? Usually it will be in actually the development folder.
Okay.
So we have that resources folder, right? In the resources folder, this will be there. But right now, since we are just learning some basics of test-driven development, so we are kept it over here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to understand the structure.
Sure. So it is the same thing as what we have done. So resources folder is there. Inside resources, you have various folders, API, service, query, and all those things. Same thing. We are following the same thing, and this code will be in one of the resources folder.
Okay.
Okay. Now next is describe get last element in a list. Describe get last element in a list. Okay. Context when the list not last element last but one element. Correct. When the list is empty, what should happen? Right? Now first thing is let's run the test case. I need to restart because it's a new file that was added. It should return nothing. Okay. Is this
This should be context. Okay.
Yeah, context is when the list is empty, it should return nothing, correct? So let us basically see, get last but one element in the list. When the list is empty, it should return nothing. Okay. Now let's go ahead and implement the code for this. Let result equal to find last but one, right? And it takes an array. Let's do this. So first thing is fail the test case. It failed, correct? I need to pass the test case. Don't write anything other than passing the test case. The simplest way to pass this test case is just create this function, correct? The test case will pass. Done. Test case passed. Now fail the test case. Simple. Expect. What is the expectation? Result dot to be undefined. Okay. Last but element also, if there is if it is empty, you cannot find the last but one element, right? This one also passed because we have not defined anything. So let's fail the test case. Next, context. When the list contains one element, what should happen?
It should. Then also it should give undefined.
Correct? It should basically give undefined. So till now there is nothing we have to do, right? Next, let's make the test case fail. Context. When the list contains two elements, right? What should happen?
It should return first element.
It should return first element, right? So here I have to give first element, and here I basically give two elements, 1 comma 2. So expect the result to be equal to 1, correct? But it failed because it was undefined, right? So how do I go fix it? So I have list here, and I basically do what? Return list of 0. Okay, let us do this. Now the problem is I did that. This was the simplest thing, we fixed it, right?
Yeah.
But the second test case failed because it should be undefined. So what should I do? How can I do it in the simplest possible way? So this test case is failing because it is returning first element and it is expecting undefined, right? So this test case is failing. How do I fix this?
So in the starting we can write list dot length equals to 1. So we can define.
You can do that. See, the thing is, you should not write. Okay, let's do that and see. So basically, if list dot length greater than 1, then you return this, else return undefined. Okay. Undefined length length, right? So everything passed. Okay, let us continue with this, right? Context. What is the next context? How do I make it fail? When the list contains more than 2 elements, what should happen?
It should return the second last element.
Correct. It should return the second last element. Correct. So I basically have 1, 2 and 3. What is the expected output? 2. Correct. So let us see whether it is failing. Right now it is failing. So how do I fix this?
List length minus 2.
So we don't have to check if length is greater than 2 and all those things. So I can basically just get rid of all these items, and I'll basically do list of length minus 2. So all the test cases passed, right? Now let us say who did this coding. Let's say Hema did this coding, both these coding. Okay. Tomorrow I basically tell Kaustav, we need to make some change. Kaustav is like, I don't understand the code. Hema has done that. Okay. So I basically tell Kaustav to go see the test cases. Now Kaustav comes, he basically sees, find last element in a list. What is the behavior of this code? When the list is empty, it should return nothing. When the list contains one element, it should return the first element. When the list contains many elements, it should return the last element. Is the requirement clear?
Yes.
Aditya, if I ask you to come and understand this code, is this enough for you to understand the requirement?
Yeah, it's gives empty, then
Correct? Roshan, say for example, I ask you to come look at this code. Can you understand what the code is doing based on this test case? Roshan, your mic is very low.
Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? Yeah, I was just saying that, I can get it through the test cases.
Correct. Now the question is, in your code, will you have to write comment telling this function will return last but one element? Do you have to write all these comments in the code? No, right?
It's pretty clear.
It is very clear. So that is why we basically remove all the comments. We never want any comments in the code, right? We spoke about the code smell, right? Why we should not write comments in the code, right? So this is your living document. Whenever people tell create documentation and all those things, right? For me, it is actually a bad practice, because this is actually a living document. Okay. If let us say someone tells, hey, do you know when the list is empty, what happens? You can basically come and see it should not do nothing, right? It should return nothing. Say for example, you want to test out something else. Let us say I want to test out when we give no parameter, what happens, right? So I can come here and just give no parameter, and I can see, say for example, context. If someone tells, dude, there was some issue, whenever we don't pass any parameter, it is failing. So I can come here, write the test case. When no list is passed, what should happen?
It should return nothing.
Correct. So right now, no list is passed. Find last but one. Okay, sorry, I need to remove this thing, right? So if this is the case, and it is basically throwing error, correct? So how can we fix this? So this is a bug somewhere you found. So I can come here and add this context. Okay, I want to fix this bug. Okay, I can come here, when no list is passed, should return nothing. So what I will do is, I will go here and I'll fix the test case. Either I will basically do, how can I pass default parameter? Do you guys know how to pass default parameter in JavaScript?
No. You can just write equal to.
Correct. Equal to, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
I guess. Means
Correct,
that
correct.
was
I
just a
think
guess.
no, I think that is the case. So it passed, right? So let's say Kaustav came and fixed this issue, right? Now, even for bug fixes, you see, we are just writing the test case fixing the issue. So this is how we need to continue always. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is clear, how we are documenting all those things and how it is like new teammate. But one thing I want to ask, suppose sometimes you write functions, right, which are doing things, and for that you need to test so many. You need to write so many test cases. Okay, if you have documentation, right? Documentation in the sense in top you are writing what uh, this function is doing. Okay, overview of function. So why that is not better?
See, the whole thing is this.
In between writing is very bad.
No, the thing is
can be
this.
very good.
Yeah, usually what happens, right? In 90% of the projects, the comment and the code is never in sync. So someone will come and make some small change. They will not go and update the commit because that is the problem everywhere. It is everyone faces that. But if you do test-driven development very religiously, then it becomes a practice, and you will always first come and write a test. And if you come and write the test, it becomes like a living document. So you don't even have to write additional things, right? Why would I want to write here if I have the test case and it is giving me all the documentation? Why would I want to go and write something here? Because the test case is giving all the documentation, right?
And it's
No,
not only
I'm
just
not talking about just comment part. One more thing is there, right? You talk about whenever you are implementing some function in top, like in Python we write a doc string, where you are telling what this function is doing, not code.
No, that is where, right? See, the whole thing is that is when you're just writing code. Right now, when I'm doing test-driven development, I have the documentation. So I don't need to write any comment, right? If I really want to know what this guy does, I can just go, this is a living documentation, that is a dead documentation. So if I make some changes over here, say for example, how will you basically tell here all these things, whatever you have written here, right? I want to basically tell all these things over there, right? If you want to tell what the functionality does, then you need to give all this information, right? So you have to go write all this information. So now I have fixed the test, one of the bug I fixed, right? So that guy has to come and update this documentation over here. If he forgets to update, then it is a wrong documentation, right? It is not complete.
Yes.
And people will keep doing that. And ultimately, this will not make any sense after some time. So the whole thing is this is dead code. It is taking unnecessary space and it is not never updated. Now, if I follow test-driven development properly, and we will make sure it is followed properly, and we have code coverage where if the code coverage goes below 95%, you will not be able to deploy the application. The compilation will fail. So if that is the case, then there is no other way for you than to actually write test-driven development. And it is a good practice, right? You are incrementally building the system. And whenever you want, you can actually come and experiment with the system. You can basically see what happens if I basically pass A over here instead of 1, 2, 3. What is your thing? What will happen? Will it break? Will it basically pass? What will happen?
Yeah, it will pass.
Say for example, someone wants to come and experiment it. So they already have a code where they can come and experiment it, right? Now if I go to the code, it is basically telling expected B equals to 2, which is correct. Here I was expecting B, but you have told 2. So I can experiment it, right? It is kind of a living document. You can try out everything that you want using your test cases, right?
Yes.
Good. Is there any other questions regarding this?
No, for me it's clear now.
Got it. So now the whole point is, in the Haskell there are 8 more problem statements. We need to be able to complete all this till this encode. Problem statement 10. Till here we should be able to complete it. Okay, that is the tasks for you guys. I'm going to stop recording.
One thing, Ravi.
Yes, go ahead.
Isn't this going? Isn't this will make the like code development slow?
Not necessarily.
We have to like.
So I'll tell you one thing. Once you get used to this, right, you will see how fast your development is. Because debugging becomes so much more easier. Otherwise, you have to put a breakpoint, you have to come see the logs and all those things. Here, debugging becomes extremely simple. Here, I can basically run this test case. I want to see what is happening. I can just debug it over here only. Otherwise, you need to run the application, make the request, you need to do all those things. So the amount of time it is wasted in debugging, the amount of time wasted in bug fixes and all those things, right, is huge. Because we had this product called Napsys previously. That is why the company is called Napsys. Trust me, we have spent less than 3% of our time fixing bugs. 97% of our time we have only written new features, and the project went in super fast mode. It is like every day we are just launching our feature. We are never focusing on bug fixes, we are never focusing on debugging, we are never focusing on all those things. All I am focusing on is, okay, what is the test case, what should I do in order to fix it, let me fix it, done, push it. Next, what is the test case, what should I need in order to do, fix the test case, done, push it. So I keep doing that, and APIs, queries, everything keeps coming out, everything works. So usually once you are really comfortable with test-driven development, right? Once you write your API, you write your test cases, write your API query and all those things. First request, you basically put on Postman and submit it. It will usually pass. Otherwise, usually you press the Postman request, something will be, some variable is not declared, some name is changed, something is happening. You will spend so much time debugging it. And we also want development to be fast. If I thought the development will be slow for any reason, I wouldn't have gone with this. Because we are also running business, right? We also want things to go fast. It is not like we are doing charity over here, right? I am not doing charity. It's like I will get paid only when I deliver things on time, right? So for me also it's a concern. And for me, with all my experience, I'm telling you, if you are comfortable with test-driven development, you will develop faster than any other company which is not doing test-driven development. And we have seen examples after examples in our own company. And that is one of the reasons we are very, very particular about this. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, got it.
Good. Any other questions, other guys? Awesome. So the next task for you guys is to complete the next 8 programs, and then we can sit on the next session. Okay. So I will pause recording.